in Week 5. Behind him in Westmoreland County, 214 yards for Curdy Wade of Bell Vernon. Dawson Wolf of Southmoreland throws for 178. Dom Scarton in a loss for Greater Latrobe, 14 of 20 for 137 yards. And making his first start for Greensburg-Salem, Chris Berger throws for 133. T. Guessman of Albert Gallatin. I guess technically we went outside the WPIAL. We went independent with the Colonials. He went for 285 yards in the performance for AG. Giovanni Rotroff, who we're going to hear from in just a little bit, representing the Northern Knights, he rushed for 190. Burrow's quarterback, Antonio Perkins, 180 yards on the ground. Avon Shirley, who was also playing quarterback for Kiski area, taking over for the injured Landon Artman, rushed for 152. Max Doherty of Dairy area, 128 yards and a loss. And Trey Corey, one of 2 Buccaneers to crack this list, he goes for 124. The top receiver across the WPIAL, it came against a Westmoreland County team. Now, Flick, you were there. I know you weren't broadcasting. I saw TJ Sabatucci. I thought they called him Talon Sabatucci. What did Jack go with? Do you remember?
No.
Okay. Well, we'll say TJ for now. I think his name might be Talon.
I don't remember.
TJ works apparently as well. Sabatucci had 205 yards receiving on 6 receptions. In that same game, Troy Sebring of Hempfield area, 8 grabs for 129 yards. And for Bell Vernon area, 4 catches and 108 yards for Anthony DeSenza. That'll do it for our top performers. We'll take a break, but when we come back, you have to stick around because it is our favorite segment. It is Plays of the Week. That's up next right here on the Westmoreland Sports Network's Westmoreland on the Gridiron, powered by Bowser.
You can't count all the ways you take care of your family in a single busy day. But knowing you made a difference in their lives is all the reward you need. At EHN Neighborhood Hospitals, that's what motivates us too. Whether it's our loved ones or yours.
DBAT Pittsburgh East, the area's premier baseball and softball training academy, is now open in Westmoreland County. Our 20,000 square foot state-of-the-art facility features dual fungo man pitching machines, hit tracks enabled cages, and professional bullpens. With private baseball and softball instruction, we're here to help you dominate the diamond. And don't forget to stop into our pro shop, powered by Rawlings and Easton, for the latest gear. DBAT Pittsburgh East, now open in export. Visit dbatpiteast.com.
We continue here on Westmoreland on the Gridiron and Flick. Without any further ado, are you ready?
I am ready, sir. Let's do it.
It is now time for Plays of the Week. And we begin Plays of the Week with Hempfield area. And it was a big night for the Spartans, and in particular, the duo of Dom Dietrich and Lucas Simmons. Their 3rd touchdown connection of the night all but sealed the victory for the home team against Canaan McMillan, with Jack Ridenauer and Dan Day passing in the sequence.
Dietrich, 3rd and 6 to the back end. Caught! Touchdown! Guess who? Lucas Simmons!
What a play over Fietta, too. Honestly, Fietta was in pretty good position. And Simmons just did a great job, kept his eye on the ball the entire time. He didn't lose sight of it. He played through the contact, and what a huge touchdown for Hempfield.
What could very well be the nail in the coffin. 3rd time Dietrich finds Lucas Simmons. And that 6'4" size coming in handy.
Dom throws a dime in there, another touchdown pass. And how about Lucas Simmons with 3 touchdown catches on the night, making a name for himself with that nice grab.
All right, so grade Dan Day's performance.
I give him an A+, man. Seriously, he was really good. I knew he'd be good. He said before the game, he goes, I'm not nervous. I just want to make sure I do a good job for you guys. And I'm like, Dan, just be yourself, man. You'll be fine. We had to fine-tune a few things before we went on. But other than that, I think he was really, really good. And Mark Kotarski sat by him the entire game and told me that Dan Day hit it out of the park. That's coming from Kotarski. You know he did well.
For those who are unaware, and hopefully if you've watched the show enough, you should know by now, Dan Day was the Seton Hill football coach, decided to step away, and he's not doing anything coaching-wise now, right?
Not right now. He said he wants to get back into it, probably at the high school level, but not yet.
But now he's getting into it as a broadcaster, so maybe he'll just go that route and never coach again and just be a lifelong broadcaster for WSN. We continue plays of the week with Southmoreland, and one of the biggest factors in the Scotties' victory against Derry was the big plays in the passing game, beginning with a terrific grab by Stanley Betters to put his team on the board in the opening quarter, with myself and John Bainbridge highlighting that score.
As it makes it 3rd and 9. Wolf looking to pass, airing it out, and it is caught. An athletic grab by Stanley Betters, elevation for 6. The touchdown for the Scotties.
The Derry corner was in good coverage position. Betters just went up with a nice vertical and went up and got it. The boy from Derry, I can't see his number, was in good coverage.
Good coverage, but a better grab by Betters.
So Stanley Betters going up and getting another ball. He actually went up and got a ball 2 weeks ago against Ringgold, and then this one in the end zone for a great touchdown. Stow was there. He slipped. Betters went up, and wow, what a grab.
Would you say that Stanley was just a little bit Betters on that play? Boom, boom.
Anyway.
Okay.
Good job, Sean.
Making sure we didn't freeze there for a second.
Good job, buddy.
Thank you very much.
Good job.
Well, let's continue plays of the week in that same game, because for the Derry area side, it was another week and another Dylan Pitzer highlight on defense. The hulking lineman, he gave them their first points in kind of an unconventional fashion, a sack of Dawson Wolf that yielded a second quarter safety, once again with myself and John on the call.
Yeah, they pin him down in here, and Southmoreland kicking game, their punter is not really fantastic. You can get good field position here. I can't believe they're throwing
it. And he is brought down in the end zone. And that is a safety.
There were a bunch of them there. Pitzer, I think, 77 was the first fella there.
Dylan Pitzer, who has sealed a game already with the quarterback sack and fumble cause this season, gives Derry its first points in unconventional fashion. It is a safety.
I hate to question coaches, but 4 minutes to go, you're back down in there, ahead 2 scores, hand the ball off a couple times and punt it.
Tell me Dylan Pitzer doesn't look like a man amongst boys. He just towers over everybody. I mean, even Dawson Wolf, who's a big dude. I mean, he looks bigger than. But I agree with Coach Bainbridge there. I don't know why Southmoreland was throwing at that point, but Pitzer made him pay.
He certainly did. I will say that they hit some big plays in the passing game, and sometimes you have that, significant confidence that you can do it every single time. So Trojans made him pay, but ultimately it was the Scotties who came out on top. We continue plays of the week with Kiski area, and the Cavaliers finally returned home after 4 straight games on the road, and they notched a much-needed win with some home cooking, sparked by the brotherly duo of Avon and Tegan Shirley, who combined on a fourth quarter score to extend the lead to 14, with Jonathan Whaley providing the commentary.
Twins to the far side, single receiver close to the near side. See what Shirley does. Shirley will fire a slant pattern. He's got a man. That's a 10 touchdown. 10-yard touchdown pass to his brother. Shirley to Shirley. 10-yard touchdown pass. Shirley to Shirley. Sounds like a law firm, but it's a football duo here tonight for a big touchdown.
Indeed, Jonathan, it does sound like a law firm. And the two connected there, and Franklin Regional, unfortunately, falls. Unfortunately, if you're a Franklin Regional.
Yes, we've mentioned that's a cool moment for Colin Hall, I would imagine, getting the victory against his alma mater. And although I've seen them lose 3 times, I've done 3 Cavaliers games, Avon Shirley is awesome. And so, he's had to move around, started the season at quarterback, went to receiver, back playing quarterback now. So I'm hoping that he has a strong finish to his senior year. He and his brother both going to be big-time players beyond the high school.
And wait, he's a hooper too, right?
Yes, they both are.
Yeah. Yeah, so it'll be fun to
we'll
see them on
with
the
Corey
hard-
Smith in the win. Yep, no doubt. We'll wrap up plays of the week with Bell Vernon area, and the Leopards nearly pulled off a major upset against Thomas Jefferson, and a big passing play put them in the lead in the fourth quarter as Curdy Wade found Anthony DeCenzo with Dave Franzak and Ryan Garentz handing the picture.
Fake the handoff. Throw on the far side. Complete. Getting upfield to the 40, to the 45. Makes a man miss to the 50. 45 to the 40. 35, 30, 25, 20. 15, 10, 5. Touchdown. Anthony DeCenzo.
Look at another big play by Bell Vernon. They love it. They love the big play, making people miss left and right on a 5-yard out route. What was that, a 70-yard touchdown?
73 yards.
Woo! Don't look now when the Leopards are up.
First of all, Dave had the great call, and then you heard the Bell Vernon coaches like absolutely going nuts right beside their setup on that long touchdown. And then Ryan Garentz, we talked about Dan Day stepping in this week as a rookie, making his WSN debut. Ryan did a great job with Dave and sounded great there. I mean, he was more excited, I think, than the Bell Vernon coaches were. So good stuff by everybody.
Yes. Now, final question. You might not know the answer to this.
I don't.
Dave is a Thomas Jefferson grad.
I do know that.
Is Ryan?
Oh, that is a good question. I'll have to ask Dave
would not
for
have
next
thought
week.
that based on his excitement for the
Right.
Leopards.
Well, he was being unbiased, even if he was a TJ grad.
Yes, that was good stuff all around.
Yeah.
That will do it for plays of the week. When we come back, I have a chance to talk to the head coach of the Hempfield area Spartans. I've known him for quite a while. I've known his dad for even longer. That is Nick Kiefer. That's upcoming next. And a little bit later, we will hear from Giovanni Rotroff as well for the Norway Knights. That's all to come right here on the Westmoreland Sports Network's Westmoreland to Gridiron. It's powered by Bowser.
Over the years, car dealerships have come and gone, but one name has stood the test of time. Smale? The Smale family's commitment to excellence is unwavering. We're proud to announce the grand opening of our new Smale Kia showroom. Right now, get up to $1,000 APR bonus cash on select models, plus 0% financing for up to 48 months on 2025 Kia Sportage and Kia Sorento gas models. Don't miss these savings. Now it's Smale Kia, Route 30 East, Greensburg.
The prevention of youth and adult substance abuse in our communities is so important, and our goal at CSAE is to do just that. CSAE works to provide education, encourage recovery, and create social change.
Join us at CSAE, because to see the change, you have to be the change.
Here on the Westmoreland Sports Network, Sean Myers now joined by the head coach of the Hempfield area Spartans, Nick Kiefer, as his team gets its first conference victory at the expense of Cannon McMillan last week. And first off, Nick, thanks so much for doing this. Always enjoy talking to you. It felt like such a massive victory for your program after two tough losses against the two elite teams in Class 6A, North Allegheny, Pittsburgh Central Catholic. You needed a bounce back, and you got it against the Big Macs. So 38-27 victory. What stood out most about your team's performance?
You know, I was just so proud of our kids. Like you said, we had North Allegheny and Central Catholic back-to-back, and those are the two premier programs in 6A. And I was proud of our efforts in those games, and I thought we battled for a little bit of each game, but, wasn't good enough. But I thought that all three phases of the game contributed to the win. You know, our offense was clicking. Dom Dietrich had a great game. Our defense made caused some turnovers, and also our special teams caused turnovers on the one kickoff. So I was really happy with how we came together and everyone was locked in, and the kids deserved it on homecoming.
You still have a long way to go. As I mentioned, that was your first conference victory. So now 1-2, and it feels like this is a season defining stretch that began with that win against the Big Macs and a few more big tests upcoming. But to get that first victory in the conference, how important was that?
It's huge. You know, we always say that 6A football is big boy football, and it takes a lot to win a game in conference. So to be able to bounce back and beat a good team like Cannon McMillan, and they have a lot of good kids. I think they had 5 all-conference players returning. You know, you saw how good Sabatucci, the tight end. He had a huge game on offense for them. We had trouble defending him, but I think our kids were up to the challenge, and I thought they played really well, and I was really excited for them.
Dom Dietrich has been special this year. There's no doubt about it. Obviously, we know his backstory. A lot of people have been rooting for him. So for him to go out and deliver pretty much every single week, he has put up incredible numbers. He's been an efficient passer. He's been a prolific passer. And it seemed like maybe he had one of, if not his best game ever this past Friday. So how does he continue to do it week in and week out?
You know, Dom Dietrich, a kid like that doesn't come around very often. So I've been fortunate enough to be able to coach him for now 4 years. I also, I've known him since I think he came to Hempfield in second grade, and I had him at Fort Allen Elementary School. So I've known him a really long time, and he's always been an outstanding young man. And everything he's gone through from last year, not having a summer to work before your junior year, and then everything that happened this summer with him, I'm just so happy for him to be able to deliver like we all knew he could. So it was great to see him really shine last week, and I'm looking forward to hopefully seeing that again this week as well. All the kids look up to him, and what I thought was really great about that is we knew that he was close to breaking our school record, and I didn't tell him prior to the game because I knew he wouldn't want a distraction. And on our last series, when we got the fumble recovery, I told him, I said, "Hey, you're 9 yards from breaking the school record. Let's throw." And the kids were like, "Let's throw a hitch and get it." And he said, "No, we don't need to do that. Go out there. Let's kneel the ball and win the game." And that just shows the type of leader he is, that he doesn't care about statistics. He doesn't care about records. All he cares about is winning and his teammates. So I was just so proud of him. And that's just, what we expect from him at this point. He's just such a great kid.
And he's got some really good weapons around him. Jack Kopis is a proven guy, and Aiden Steinbeiser at running back has proven now for a couple of years that he can get the job done. But an emerging new target in Lucas Simmons, a guy who didn't play football the last couple of years, had his breakthrough performance. I know there was a lot of excitement, even in the preseason, about what he could provide. It feels like it's starting to click now. Do you get that same sense? No doubt. And when you do step away from the game for a couple years, there is a little bit of learning curve there, right? But this summer in 7-on-7s, he played outstanding. But it is a little different when you get the pads on. So he's been working really hard, and we knew it was going to come. It just it happened to happen on Friday, and he had 3 touchdowns. He wanted a fourth one. He almost had it at the last series of the game there. And I'm just really excited for him because he works very hard. And like you said, he's a 3-sport athlete now. He plays basketball, and also he's a really good baseball player. So just what an athlete for him to be able to pick up kind of where he left off from middle school football. He's a big target. He's 6'4". He goes up, he catches the ball really good with his hands. So I'm just really excited for him that he was able to break out on last Friday. Before you started conference play, your team got off to a 3-0 start to 2025 and some impressive victories in there. I had a chance to see your dominant performance against Kiski area earlier this season. What is the significance for a team that has aspirations of taking a step forward like your squad did this year to see that proof in the pudding with those 3 consecutive victories? No, these kids just work so hard in the off season. I think we gave them 2 weeks off last year in November, and we were in the weight room 3 days a week, November and December, and then we came in 4 days a week starting in January. So we spend so much time together, and these kids have worked so hard. They didn't miss very many workouts. They were always in there. This summer we went 4 days a week with 7-on-7. Once a week, we were either at, Pitt team camp, W&J. We had our county 7-on-7, or we'd have teams come to us, or we'd go somewhere. So they've put so much time in, and we talk about all the time that all that work they put in, they deserve this. They have to make sure they're staying locked in and taking care of business, and they really are. We say that bad teams, there are no leaders. Good teams, the coaches lead. And if you want to be a great team, the players have to lead. And I think we're really getting to the point in our program where these players are stepping up and really being great leaders.
and the younger kids are looking up and following them. So I'm really happy and excited for these kids. It's been a lot of fun so far this season, and I'm excited to hopefully continue rolling here.
So you mentioned that the players are leading, but obviously you have a big hand in that as well. I know that it was a rocky start your first year guiding this program, probably expected with a lot of players moving on. You had a young group you were breaking in. So the players have improved throughout your time. How have you improved during your tenure as the head coach?
I think, every game, every week, you try to reflect on what you could have done better. And I think that this is also, when you have a new staff, everyone has to learn how to coach with each other as well. Like you said, that first year, we only won one game, but we battled a lot, and a lot of younger kids got really good experience. And then last year, we took some strides and faced some adversity, and were able to win 4 games. So I think that it's kind of all starting to click right now with the years we've all been together, including the kids. A lot of these seniors are 3-year starters, and we kind of went through those growing pains together. So I just think it's just every year is obviously different, but I learn each, and I try to lean on my staff. I feel like we have a really good staff here at Hempfield, and we have a lot of head coaches on our staff through other sports. You look at I lean on my dad a lot. He has 40 years of coaching experience. My brother's the head basketball coach for basketball at Fraser. Tim Van Horn is the head track coach at Norwin. They just won Whitfield championships last spring. Dave Murray has, I think, 26 state champions in the throws. So, I lean on all those guys. Pooty Carson comes in, he volunteers down at West Virginia University. So I feel like we have a really good staff, and I try to lean on those guys too, to try to make sure, we're always reflecting to see how's our practices. Are we as efficient as we should be? Tim Evans does a great job with our nutrition and our weight room aspect and the strength training. So we try to really put everything together, because that's what it takes to win football games in 6A. You can't just, it's not just showing up on Friday or our practices during the week. It's 12 months of preparation that leads into these games.
Make sure you pass along my regards to your dad, by the way. I spent a lot of time covering his basketball teams down at Carlo. I'm sure he's having a good time helping you out now and seeing this success as well. So it's a big week upcoming. There's no doubt about it. We at the Westmoreland Sports Network, it's one of the biggest games we cover every year, but I would imagine that your players treated a little bit different than some of the other 6A opponents. It's a rivalry matchup against Norwin. How is this one different than the preparation for every other game?
Well, I think just when you're in a conference and you have hour and 20-minute drives towards places, we're not growing up with those kids, so it really doesn't mean as quite as much. When you look at playing that team up the road, we say 11 miles in the shade of blue, and they grew up playing against them in different sports, and I think it does mean a lot. That these seniors played for Mike and Joe and Connor, so that they have a relationship with them. So I think it's that familiarity that you have that just makes it a little bit extra special. It's down the road at their place. I think it's their homecoming, so we're expecting a lot of our fans to go there, so they're excited about that, to have a crowd behind them too. So it's what high school sports are supposed to be about, that you're playing local rivalries and kids and grew up with, playing against in baseball and hoops and things like that. So everyone has a little bit extra pep in their step this week.
I know that while your program seemingly is on the verge of taking a big step this year, the Knights are doing the same thing, because they were really plagued by injuries a year ago. I think they lost their final 8 games, but they look like a much different team in 2025. So how are they noticeably better?
You look at they're a big, strong, fast team, and a lot of those kids, like you said, that got injured last year are bigger, or back bigger and stronger. Tristan Tavares, he's a great ball player. Threw for 2,500 yards. It was a first-team all-conference quarterback as a sophomore in 5A. So we've seen him the last 4 years. I feel like he's been there forever. They have a big, strong running back, and then their defensive line is much improved. Their linebackers fly to the ball and hit. They have a lot of skill out there with Brzezinski and Jake Knight. So they're a very skilled team, and they're going to be well coached like all these 6A teams. We're very familiar with each other, with being on Mike's staff prior to this. And they know what our kids can do too. So it's exciting this week, preparing for each other. and to see what each team will do differently leading up to the game. But it's exciting for the kids and the coaches.
What are some of the biggest keys for your team to come back with the victory?
Well, like any game, you're playing on the road in 6A. We have to take care of the football. You can't turn it over. You got to stop the run, and you got to create turnovers. They're a splash play team. They're going to try to take some shots. So we got to make sure we're containing Tristan if he is playing, or if it's Josh playing quarterback, we got to make sure we're wrapping him up because he's a big, strong kid who can run, and they're going to try to run the ball at us. So we have to tackle. If we don't stop the run and tackle, it's going to be a long night for us. So just play sound football. Don't turn the ball over, and hopefully we cause some, and then that should put us in a position to be successful.
Lastly, I remember I had the call of the game last year, and it felt like a roller coaster a little bit. Tavares did not start the game. He came in. He kind of tried to battle through some ailments. Clearly wasn't 100%. A game that really came down to the wire. When you think back to that, is there anything you and your players can take from that blueprint a year ago and apply it to this year?
I think just like we've done all season and last season, you just have to keep chopping. You have to keep believing. You can't get too high when things are going good, or too low if there's any adversity. And that's why these leaders on our team have done a really good job of not flinching in any type of adversity they face. Same thing happened this year with us at North Hills. We were up, and then they came back, and we ended up winning. Then Kiski, there were some up and downs. Same thing with Franklin. We were up, I think 21-0, and they came back, and then we didn't get a fourth down. They had a big injury, but then we ended up coming through at the end. So it was, I think all those things lead to kids just getting stronger and growing, and we just got to make sure we lean on that experience this week because we're playing against a great football team.
Nick, thanks so much for doing this. As always, I appreciate it. Good luck.
Thank you, Sean. Thanks for everything you guys do for Westmoreland County sports. We appreciate you. You're the best.
That is Nick Kiefer, the head coach of the Hempfield area Spartans. We'll take a quick break and be back with more right after this on the Westmoreland Sports Network.
Play It Again Sports in Greensburg is your locally owned and operated sporting goods store. We set ourselves apart by offering a wide variety of both new and used equipment at competitive prices. Located in the Greengate East Plaza, below Walmart, Play It Again Sports' knowledgeable staff will help you and your family prepare for every athletic season. Whether you're looking to buy, sell, or trade, we are here as your one-stop shop. At Play It Again Sports in Greensburg, everybody plays.
And welcome back to Westmoreland on the Gridiron. We thank Hempfield coach Nick Kiefer for joining Sean Myers, and it is now time to talk with the guy that Coach Kiefer will see on Friday night. He is from the Norwin Knights, and he is our Week 5 Westmoreland Sports Network Player of the Week, Giovanni Rotroff, the junior running back from Norwin. He rushed 40 times for 190 yards and a couple of touchdowns last week in the victory over North Hills. Gio, thank you so much for taking some time out, I'm sure, of your busy schedule, and thanks for joining us tonight.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, man. Well, let's jump right into it. Was that your heaviest workload ever? 40 carries. And I know there were some extenuating circumstances, the reason that you had to carry the ball that many times. But have you ever carried the ball even close to 40 times in your football career so far?
No, it's always been like 20, maybe a little over 25. But yeah, 40 was definitely the most.
Well, the big question is how your body felt on Saturday morning.
I mean, it was fine. Adrenaline was still a little kicked in, but right after it was hard to move.
Was there some things that the coaching staff went over with you, or like my coach Brown came over like, hey man, make sure you get with the trainer today and take care of what you need to take care of?
Yeah, he was like, get with the trainer, do what you got to do. And yeah.
Well, unfortunately, Tristan got hurt early in the game. When you knew he probably wasn't going to return, did you think you were going to get the ball a lot or as much as you did?
Yeah, we went over it when he got hurt. I was assuming because Josh had a hurt thumb, so we were gonna probably run the ball most of the time. And yeah, I was ready for it. So yeah.
Yeah, what was your mindset? I mean, obviously you never want to see a teammate go down, but when you know that now the responsibility is kind of on you, I mean, do you kind of feel that adrenaline rush a little bit?
Yeah, excitement came in, and it was just next man up mentality. So yeah.
Well, you can't do what you do, I know, without your boys up front. And man, I've loved to see those guys work along with you in the running game. I talked with Tristan a couple of weeks ago about it. So much has been talked about and written about with how much size you guys have up front. And then, you're the bowling ball that comes behind. But just talk about the entire running game as a whole and just the way the offensive line has blocked this year.
They've blocked always really well. I mean, they don't get enough credit. I try to give them as much credit as possible. But, I mean, they've always keep the holes open for me. Even if there's not, we always got each other's back. And so, yeah, I mean, always got each other's back through everything.
Well, do you want to throw any of those guys a bone? You want to name any of those guys up front that we can give a shout out?
I'll name all of them if I'm allowed.
Go ahead, buddy. Take it away.
Start from the left side. Left tackle, William Bossert. And then left guard, Sebastian Somerville. Center, Patrick Schmuck. And then right guard is Hunter Lechecue. And right tackle is Lucas Saltier.
A lot of size up front for the Knights this year, no doubt about it. And you guys have been doing a great job chewing up yards on the ground. So you're having a really good year, but I know that there's a couple of games that you'd like to get wins out of. And you're talking about the Penn Trafford game, you came that close. Certainly the North Allegheny game, that close again. How challenging has that been mentally? And has that also given you guys kind of confidence in a way that you can play with anybody?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough, no doubt, but it's always given us a chip on our shoulder. And at the same time, it shows us we can hang with anybody. We can always compete with anyone out there. It's just a mindset.
Let's talk about you a little bit. When did you start playing football, Gio, and kind of what got you into it?
When I was little, I know always seeing stuff on YouTube and always watching football on Sundays and seeing all the players. And then talked to my mom about it when I was little and probably kindergarten, start off at flag.
Mm-hmm.
And then first grade, played with my older brother, and then goes on from there.
What do you enjoy most about playing football?
I feel like the competitiveness with the team, always playing with my teammates and just the bond.
All right, let's ask some other questions that maybe people care about. I don't know. What's your go-to place for fast food?
I'd say Chipotle, in my opinion.
What's your order?
I get a bowl,
Yeah.
and then I'll get a burrito wrap on the side, and then I'll get extra white rice, and then whatever the special meat is.
Yeah.
So this week's the carne asada steak, so I'll get that, and then I'll get lettuce, guacamole, and some of the tomatoes.
Dude, you got to start asking them for some NIL money. You could be a spokesperson or something.
Yeah, and then on the side, I'll get the vinaigrette sauce and sour cream.
All right. I like the order. I like it. How about your favorite sports movie? Do you have one that stands above the others?
I'd probably say The Longest Yard. Adam Sandler has always been a good actor for me. I've always liked watching him, and I always found it funny.
Somebody else said that. I think it was Kimani Brown over at Jeanette, the quarterback over there. I think he said, because Sean was interviewing him, and he said, there's two versions of it. The one that we kind of know, and then there's a much older version. I think Burt Reynolds, was in it, the original. But yeah, the Adam Sandler one. That was definitely good. Maybe I'll put you on the spot here a little bit. If you could change one role in football, what would it be?
I mean, I feel like the numbers for the positions, like how college does it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that'd be kind of cool for seeing I don't know, a lineman in a smaller number, or that's probably it. Probably just lineman in a different number.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think NFL's kind of gone to that too, right? Where they have, because in the past you wouldn't see a Micah Parsons wearing a number 1.
Oh yeah.
But now they kind of do that too, where college has done it, for a while.
Mm-hmm.
What is the excitement level this week like, preparing for Hempfield, knowing that certainly they're one of your rivals, maybe your biggest? Do you kind of notice a little bit of extra energy in practice?
Yeah, always bumping up the energy no matter what. So the energy's high. Competition's high also. Going through everything crisp and perfect is always a key that the coaches have us do.
How about your keys to victory? What do you have to do well this week to come out with a win against Hempfield?
Discipline, always stick together no matter what, no pointing fingers. And just bonding in general. We have to, through the tough times, stuff might go bad, but you always have to keep your head up.
I know you want to win every game, Gio, but now thinking about it, who is your favorite team to play against?
I like PT the most because it starts off the season really well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I like playing against them. It's always a big physical fight, so I like playing against them the most.
So I know you're just a junior, but you have to start thinking about college, I'm sure. Do you want to play football at the next level? Have you gotten interest quite yet? Where are you kind of at with the process right now?
Most definitely want to play in college, and that's like I'm gonna just keep the dream alive. I always want to play in college, and yeah, I mean nothing right now, but opportunities will show, and when the time is right.
Keep doing what you're doing, man. I love watching you run, and trust me, I'm sure college coaches will too. So keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Hey, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Again, congratulations on winning Player of the Week, and go at it against Hempfield. Good luck on Friday.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
That is Giovanni Rotroff Jr. for the Norwin Knights. Coming back after this message, Sean and I will talk about those matchups coming up in Week 6, right after we take that time out on Westmoreland on the Gridiron.
The all-new 2025 Subaru Crosstrek is built for every road, every journey, every moment. With standard symmetrical all-wheel drive, impressive fuel efficiency, and advanced safety features, Crosstrek takes you further, whether you're exploring the city or escaping the Laurel Mountains. Rugged, reliable, and ready for adventure. That's the 2025 Subaru Crosstrek. Love. It's what makes a Subaru at Sendell Subaru. We would love to meet you.
Along the arc of a woman's life, there are many passages. Growing up, chasing dreams, building a career, embracing wisdom born of experience. There are times that make good health and well-being so vital. We provide care that helps women thrive at any age, at any stage. Independence Health System. Expert care here.
Back here to wrap this one up, our final segment. It is the Week 6 look ahead, but we want to thank Nick Kiefer and Giovanni Rotroff for taking the time to talk to us. And they're going to know each other a little bit better on Friday night as well, Flick. I'm sure there's familiarity already, but the head coach of the Spartans, the running back for the Knights, they're going to be locking horns in North Huntington. This is going to be a massive game. It's always a massive game because of the bragging rights and the rivalry, but this is maybe the first time in a long, long time that it's two teams that have the look of being real postseason contenders. So the Spartans, they're 1-2 in the conference. The Knights are 1-1. Questions loom on the Norwin side. Is Tristan Tavares going to play? Is he going to play effectively? Is Jake Knight going to play? We don't know any of that yet. Probably, we'll start to get a better idea as we get closer to kickoff, but to me, right now, you have to give maybe a little advantage to Hempfield because they're coming in hot and they don't have nearly as many question marks in terms of the health, I don't think.
Yeah, that is just the biggest. And that's such a shame, too, right? I mean, everyone's looking forward to this game. We're going to have a great crowd, I'm sure, at Norwin. A lot of people watching as well, especially, again, when you throw in that both teams are having pretty good years. And, man, you just want both teams to be as healthy as possible going into this game as a fan, right? It's just a shame. You hope. I think back to last year when Tavares played against Hempfield on like one leg, and he was out there throwing passes on one leg. And I mean, I think he's going to do everything he possibly can. I don't want to speak for him because I don't know the extent of the injury, but I do know what I saw last year him doing against Hempfield. So I would imagine he'll try to do everything he can to play in the game. Hopefully Jake Knight can play. You just hope that both teams are as close to 100% as possible, because if that's the case, it should be a great game.
Yeah, and overall, both teams are 4-2. So they've had a lot of success this season. But we mentioned how pivotal this game will be in terms of the postseason. Remember, 4 teams get in 6A. We can pencil in Central Catholic, North Allegheny. Maybe both these teams make it in. We'll see. But whoever wins this one is going to have a significant advantage in terms of the postseason. It's the battle for the bell. It's always a big one. It's another rivalry match. It feels like this is almost like week 9 with the rivalry matchups. Gateway at Penn Trafford. Warriors 5-1, but just 1-1 in the conference. The Gators are 2-1 in the conference. They're coming off of their first loss in Big East play, a heartbreaker against Armstrong. This is not the same Gateway team we've normally seen, but it does feel like a team that's getting better as the season's gone along. So for the Warriors, this might be their biggest test the rest of the way, at least in the regular season.
I think so. When you look at some of the teams that, they're going to be playing, you still have to play against Latrobe and Armstrong.
Franklin Regional's down big,
and
though.
Franklin's unfortunately down. But yeah, I think a lot of people will say that Penn Trafford's favored in this game, and I agree with that. But this has really turned into a rivalry game, and I think both schools, because of the pride that they have and the programs, and they want nothing more than to beat the other school. So, again, I know that the cliche goes you can throw the records out the window, but I honestly would be surprised if Gateway at least doesn't come out and show fight at the beginning. And if this turns out to be a good close game, I wouldn't be shocked by that either, even though I think Penn Trafford has the ability, to maybe run away with it.
And the winner, the most important aspect is you get the bell.
That's right. And maybe a home playoff game.
Yes. And by the way, speaking of home, it is homecoming. And I don't know if you know this or not, Flick. I may be breaking this to you. I believe the entire male homecoming court, football players.
Oh, I bet John Wayne loves that.
They are doing it pregame. It will not be at halftime.
Well, that's not quite as bad then.
Yes. John Wayne is probably a little bit more at ease than as opposed to if they had to come out for the entire halftime. So, yes, they are doing it pregame.
That's cool.
But I believe every male on the homecoming court, a football player. So it's going to be a busy night there at PT.
They do a great job with, their specialized nights, Kerry Hetrick. And he always, whether we're covering the game there, which we usually are, or not, he's sending out emails, making sure everyone's on the same page, knowing what's going on, whether it's, the heroes night, the first responders night, or homecoming or senior night or what have you. So,
yeah, should be a big night. Dairy area, it's not going to be easy for the Trojans to bounce back. They head to Elizabeth Forward to play. The Warriors will have that one on video as well. EF 5-1, 1-0. The Trojans are 0-1 in the conference. They are 3-3 overall. They're going against one of the best quarterbacks the WPIAL has to offer in Ryan Messina. Well, we talk about rivalries. It doesn't get much more heated than Greensburg Central Catholic and Jeanette. This one will be played at Jeanette. We'll have video of this one. And I would have told you before the season that this is going to be two of the best teams in Class 1A doing battle. Now it's two teams that are fighting for their playoff lives. And I think, maybe doesn't have the same prestige because of the records, but the desperation is going to be very apparent, I think.
Yeah, they have to be desperate, right? This is such an important game. So a lot is on the line. It always is when GCC and Jeanette play, but now both teams are fighting for their playoff lives. So it's either we get it done or we might miss the postseason, which is just crazy to think about, especially I remember, when we broadcast the game last year, Sean, the playoff game in the WPIAL quarterfinal, which Jeanette won, you're thinking, man, these teams we can't wait till they play again next year because it's going to be a great game again. And it still could be, certainly, but you just thought that both teams would have, better records coming into this game. But again, there's a lot on the line for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. And this has been a rivalry for a long, long, long time. Generations at this point. I did that Westmoreland, Where Are They Now with Nick Suke over the summer, GCC legend. He was playing there in the early 2000s, and he talked at length about the rivalry and respect with Jeanette. They have had some great matchups over the years. This one we will have on audio. It's a non-conference matchup. We talked about Fox Chapel. The Foxes are down bad, but they have 2 wins, and that's 2 more than Franklin Regional as the Panthers look to get off the schneid. Did not expect that we'd be looking at an 0-6 record for Franklin Regional. They will certainly have a good chance to try to get their first victory. Bell Vernon area at Chartiers Valley. The Colts are 5-1. They won their conference opener for Bell Vernon. This is a big game. Again, they were so close last week. We'll see if they can knock off a pretty good Colts team at Char Valley. Greensburg Salem at Mount Pleasant area. Will Brody Chismar play? We'll see. Obviously, with him out, it's going to be an even steeper uphill climb. Mount Pleasant has been playing some good football recently. Vikings are now 4-2. They won their conference opener going away. There's some storylines to be played out on Cougar Mountain as the Yaw Cougars welcome the Southmoreland Scotties. We mentioned 6-0 for Southmoreland. I think there's only 8 or 9 teams in the entire WPIAL that are still undefeated. They are one of them, and they're going against the team where their head coach used to play, and that is the Cougars. Dustin Schoaf, of course, a legendary figure on Cougar Mountain. And maybe it doesn't turn out to be a very competitive game. We'll see. Cougars have been sputtering recently, but I think that storyline alone makes it a fun one, Flick.
Yeah, I think so. I think Southmoreland obviously favored coming in, but like, I want to talk to Dustin after at some point, just see what his, thoughts are, getting out there. And again, he teaches at York, so he's very, and how many, by the way, you have John Ruane teaches at Gateway, playing against Gateway. Mike Brown teaches at Penn Trafford, and now, of course, coaches Norwin, plays against Penn Trafford.
And he used to coach Hempfield.
And Hempfield, right? There's some ties there as well. And then you have Schoaf teaching at York, playing at York, and then obviously coaching at Southmoreland. So, yeah, I mean, especially going to Cougar Mountain. And, I can imagine what's going through his mind when he steps out in the field to lead his team.
We had the same story a few years ago with Ty George, right?
Yeah,
he went
Ty
back
George
against
well.
Hempfield area.
Now he does teach at Greensburg-Salem, so it's not like super weird to him, but it is. Again, that's not obviously he went to Hempfield, so
yeah. This is another rivalry matchup. I think it's called the Battle of the Bypass. Valley at Burl, and the Vikings. They're 0-6 this season. Buccaneers coming off of a thrilling win. They are 2-4. For Coach Dom Girardi. Chartiers Houston at Monessen, and non-conference Charleroi at Ligonier Valley. Rams also looking for their first victory in 2025. Some young players have contributed for them, but ultimately they've been just a little overmatched at times. This should be a winnable matchup, you figure, at home against the 1-5 Charleroi Cougars. And then Seton Hill, tough loss against IUP. Not going to be much easier as they head to play at Cal U. The Vulcans are now 4-0. They won a dramatic contest against Slippery Rock under the lights on Saturday, so they are 1-0 in the PSAC West. Griffins 2-3, 0-1. Case Western Reserve at St. Vincent. We'll see if Jake Phillips can throw for 800 yards in this one. That will be a 1:00 kickoff. Flick, anything jump out to you other than a heck of a lot of good matchups so we'll have on WSN?
Yeah, I mean, that's really exciting. And even the matchups that we're not broadcasting, don't forget, we'll be tweeting scores. You can check out our scoreboard on our website as well for scores there as well. I'm going to be really interested to see, can Greensburg-Salem, if Chismar plays, can they keep up, with Mount Pleasant? And then, of course, that York-Southmoreland clash with Schoaf going there. But, man, I mean, we have some like GCC, Jeanette, Gateway, Penn Trafford, Hempfield, Norwin. There's a lot of great matchups right there.
Those are the biggest rivalry matchups for all those teams, right?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, I think so. Well, I mean, I guess PT you could say Norwin or Franklin, but Gateway's that's like the almost like the biggest matchup of the year just because of how good both teams usually are. But either way, I mean, those are some really, really exciting matchups, and looking forward to to seeing how everything plays out. And obviously, we actually had our another recruiting Thursday feature. You can check that out on Brady Brown from Derry. We also have had, we'll have, we had our Monday notebook on Monday, if you can believe that. Don't forget, coming up on Friday, Sean does a great job putting together all the Westmoreland County High School football preview stories and breaking down all the games. And, so
a lot of soccer as well. A lot of soccer.
We did. We had a lot of soccer this week. We were at Mount Pleasant 2 days in a row. We were at we're at Latrobe. So Latrobe and Norwin played. So, yeah, a lot of great things going on in WSN. And actually, we're going to have girls volleyball coming up here pretty soon as well, Penn Trafford and Hempfield. So we're trying to cover a little bit of everything, and hope everyone is enjoying the ride here in 2025.
But there's nothing that we enjoy covering more than Friday night football across Westmoreland
That's
County.
true.
That's going to do it for this episode. I want to thank both of our guests, Nick Kiefer, the head coach of the Spartans, and Giovanni Rotroff, the running back for the Norwin Knights. Also want to thank Bowser for being a great sponsor of Westmoreland on the Gridiron.
Thanks,
we will
Gary.
sign off. We will catch you again next Wednesday. You know when. It's 7:00 right here on the Westmoreland Sports Network. For my partner and pal, Dan Flickinger, Sean Meyer, saying that'll do it for this edition of Westmoreland on the Gridiron. Catch you Friday night for all the games right here on the Westmoreland Sports Network.
Have a good night, everybody.